Hello everybody, welcome to another Transformers review. Today I'd like to show you Beastwars Tarantulas. Beastwars Deluxe Tarantulas. He's a, he's a spider, obviously, but not really, as the name implies, very tarantula-like. He doesn't really look like a tarantula in my view anyway. Still very, very arachnoid, definitely. I quite like this figure. Just like the Waspinator I showed you, this is not the original. This is the reissue. You can tell because he has this Predacon insignia right here. This is very close to what the original looked like. Not exactly the same, but very, very close. It's the same mold, obviously. Well, I need to stop saying that. Anyway, he's it's a pretty good. I think it's a pretty good mold. Look at those eyes. There are not. I don't think there are any actual spiders that have an eye directly in the center like that. They're always paired on either side. So that's kind of an unusual embellishment, but I can deal. It's not that bad. For those of you who don't know, this mold was used twice, like the Waspinator mold was. They were really trying to get everything they could out of each mold that they made. Not a bad idea. I don't think it is. So they used this mold to create Tarantulas, but they also used this mold to create a female character, Black Arachnia, which looks nothing like this, or at least nothing like this figure does, in the show. But it is still based on this design. You can still tell in the show that the character model is based roughly on this design, although with some rather obvious differences. Now, there is a gimmick in this form. You can just tell I press this button and out comes this missile, which is on a tether. Let's see this focus. Yeah, it's on a tether. And in the show, he actually does use these, so does Black Arachnia. But the missile, this anchor missile, looks a lot more threatening in the show. It's covered in spikes. It looks like you could cut somebody in half with it. It's not rounded like this at all. It is a very dangerous looking weapon. Like, he basically puts a great big guillotine in his gun and shoots a guillotine at you. That's how horrifying that thing is. Like, it's like shooting a sword at somebody. It's kind of a cool idea. Anyway, it's got this. It's on this this tether thing, this string, so you can do this. Woo, woo. Kind of. I mean, that's kind of cool. You got to admit this. This whole hanging from a thread thing. That's a cool thing for a spider toy to be able to do. Doesn't matter who you are. That's neat. Anyway, not much else to say about this form. He's got a couple of ball joints at the front here, so he can move these legs around. The ones at the front, not these back ones, but these two pairs on the front, they can move around. And these bits here, his pedipalps, those are the mouth parts. He can bend them a little bit. They can bend down. Yeah, you can bend them down a bit. Anyway, to transform him, you can probably already tell how this works. You take his abdomen here and you extend the legs out of his abdomen and open up his leg, open up his feet rather, push these out. There you go. And you're left with this empty torso. You can see up here, much like Power Pinch, these pieces spread apart like that, and you can see his head. Just flip this down, and you are essentially done his transformation at this point. He is in robot mode. Boy, kind of a weird design for a robot. He has some very illogical choices in his design. I almost feel like they were an accident for the most part. You see, he's got posability in his hips and his knees, and he's got a little bit of posability here, but yeah, and his shoulders. But the weird thing is his elbow it's upside down. Look at this. That's weird. I mean, you can flip it over like this, but now he looks like, what's going on with that? That's confusing. I mean, that's not even misassembled. Look at the hollowness under here. That is clearly the underside of this arm. So his arms bend down like that. That's really weird. Why? Confusing. Yeah, that is very strange. He still looks okay. I don't hate him. I think his transmetal form, his transmetal toy, looks a lot better, but this is not completely hateful. Like the Waspinator, he has a secondary face, although it's on the same head. You can bend this up, his head up, and there is another head underneath. Now, like I told you, this mold was used as the basis for the Tarantulas model in the show and the model for Black Arachnia, although both were changed somewhat. Well, significantly in the case of Black Arachnia. She was completely different. But it was still obvious that it was based on this toy. You can really tell in the head. This face, this alternate face, was used as the basis for Black Arachnia's face design in the show. But, like I said, it's not one-to-one. It's quite, there was some significant differences. Another thing, these posable legs, it's implied in the show that these are actually, that he uses these as guns. All 8 of them, actually. Black Arachnia does the same thing. They're some sort of weird machine guns. Now, he has a weapon, as the anchor missile implies, and you can see this peg right here. You can pull this out of his back, and it is quite similar to Waspinator's gun in a lot of ways. It's had that peg on the top, just like his, roughly the same shape, and it does the same thing. It shoots a missile, and you can peg that into, oddly enough, the top or bottom of this guy's arms. And you can launch you can plug in this this anchor missile. You can plug in that, or strangely, you can unpeg one of these 4 arms, one of these 4 spider legs, and they turn into missiles for this gun. Now, this is pretty cool that he can do this. He's got 4 missiles, so like, he's got 4 of these things. I'm gonna shift his head back to his regular Tarantulas head. It's kind of an interesting choice. He can fire 4 of these things. That's pretty cool. But, you know, if you think about it, I wouldn't want to be doing this because I don't want to lose any of his legs. I mean, they form part of his beast mode. I don't want to lose these. So I would never consider playing with the toy in this way as a kid. I would be using this because it's on a tether and you're not going to lose it. Anyway, he's all right. He's actually, I guess, as far as any of the as far as any of the Beast Wars cast proper in the show, I'd say he's actually one of the few. He's one of the least changed figures, I guess. He's or one of the least changed characters from his toy model. He looks in the show more like his toy than any other of the characters in the series. Possibly excluding Optimus Primal. Optimus Primal and Megatron, they both look pretty close to their toy counterparts. But most of the others look significantly different. I don't think Tarantulas does. And to reiterate, Black Arachnia, completely different, even though it's the same mold. Anyway, that's been Beast Wars Deluxe Tarantulas, and please tell me what you think. Rate, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.